If I created another project, then only the JSON file will be created, right?
Yeah,
So,
you should create an another database from your Firebase database.
okay, sir.
Create another instance of your database, then take that JSON file and put your in directory. Then
Okay,
see
sir.
if it works. Okay. So in our today's session, we will upload our profile image. In our yesterday's, we can see I have added two users here in our real-time database. But we also need some profile picture when we are dealing with our users. So we will start using our storage section. You can go here in the storage section. In this, it will be opened like this. First thing you want to do is you want to change some rules here. Go in your rules section, and in this here you can see allow read and write. After if I'm putting as it as a true, for the first in by default it will be like request dot or something like that. You have to change that whole thing and just put true here and publish your rules. Once you have published your rules, you are ready to use the storage section. The first thing you want to need your add some dependencies of your storage. I'll just show you. You can just rename this last section as storage and sync your project. Now you can see the storage is added. Then I will go back in my home activity where I am uploading some data. Here I will create a storage reference by the storage and storage. Then I will initialize it. Okay. Once I initialize it, I need a one image view right here. So you can see I don't have much space here to add an image view. So what I will do is I will delete this text view and add one image view. Now for this image view, I don't need that square or rectangular image view. I need some circular image view to make a little good UI. So what I will do is I will add some third-party dependencies of the circular image view. You can just search for the circular image view. The first link you will get this GitHub page. You have to go into this GitHub page, and in there you can see there is a dependency here. You just copy it in your module level Gradle and sync your project. So it is added to my project now. So I can go back here and just delete this text view and I'll add on circular images, and I will give it as a height and width as the 96 dp. Then I need a source. So already I added one vector asset in my drawable resource file. You can see this is my vector asset. So you can select this vector asset or anything from the Google. I will just use this vector asset. Yes. I'll just constrain it and give it an ID. And you can see my edit text are not aligned properly now. What I will do is I'll just align properly here. You can see now my edit text are at the bottom of my image view, and I also will give here some top margin. Yes, I have not constrained the top yet. Yes, now you can see when I constrain my top, you can see I'm adding some margin here and my 4 edit text and one button. Now I will bind this view to my Java file. I will just create a circular image and here I will bind it. Yes. Now we have seen already how to get into the gallery and select an image. I will do that same now. I will set an on-click listener on my image view. Yes, in that image view, I will start an intent, and in this I will open my gallery, and then I will set some type to my intent. Yes, this is how you set and type. Then Then I will start activity for result because we want some data in return. So I'll just pass one intent and my request code. So when you can see my on create view is ended here. After that, I want to add some on activity result method here. Just I will delete this session. Then I want to check if my request code is correct or not. Put one and my result code is okay or not. Yes. Now sometimes if there is something error or something lagged in your phone, that might happen that your data, being this data object, it should be null. So while I will also check this data if it is having some data or not. So what I will do is I will just add another if condition in my first if condition, and I will check data is not equal to null. Because if we upload some null data, it might crash your app. So we are checking that also. So once your data is not equal to null, then I want to do some I want an URI here. Yes, but this URI, the same URI, I also want to use here while uploading the data, right? So if I create here the URI, let's say I will create one URI here. Now you can see this URI, I can't access it here. Once you start typing the URI, you can see it is not showing my suggestion because it is only defined in this view, right? So what I will do is, yeah, what I will do is I will add my URI here at the top, so it will be used anywhere in my app. Then in this here, I can see now I can access it here also. Then I will set data dot get data, and also my circular image dot set image URI and this URI. Now before uploading to the database, I will check if it is working or not. So I will just launch my app. Just log in my user. You can see if I hit on my image, I'm navigating to my gallery section, and when I select an image, it is in my image, right? So it is working fine. So now we want this URI to be uploaded in my storage section also. And what will happen if I only upload it in my storage section? Once we are retrieving that same image in our another activity, we would want to again reference my storage section and get that image from there. So what I will do is I will upload this URI in storage section, and I will copy the link of my storage reference. While you will upload it, you can say when you will upload an image here, it will also give you an URL here. I will extract that URL, and also that URL I will paste it in my real-time database. So by that URL, I can directly access my image without getting into the storage section. So what I will do is now my storage section is initialized here. Here in my on-click listener of my button, yes, in this on-click listener, first thing I want to do is I want to set some storage reference here. I'll just storage reference, and I'll give it an reference storage dot get reference dot child. I'll create a child as a name of profile, then an another child with the same thing we did here while creating a branch in our database. We have first created on user branch, and in that the sub branch as the UID of my user. The same thing I am creating here. First branch will be named as the profile. Then I will create an another sub branch as auth dot get current user dot get UID. As now for now I'll just save it in this reference node. Okay, because we are going to use this reference sections a lot of times, so I'll just store that reference session in this value. Then what I will do is in this reference I'll put one file. You can see this put file is asking me to an upload an URI. So I have already in my URI, so I'll just upload that URI here and add on complete listener here. Now you can see there when my on complete listener is done, it is giving me a task which will be once either successful or not successful, right? So I will also check it if here if task dot is successful. Now if my task is successful, what I want to do is I want to retrieve this URL where I put my URI in my storage section. I want the URL of that section. So what I will do is I will just take my reference again dot get download URL. By this method, we can get the URL which we have added here, right? So what we are doing, get download URL dot add on success listener, not on complete listener, because on success listener can provide you in the URI correct in correct format. So I'll just add on success listener, new on success listener. We don't need to check if it is successful or not, right? You can see now it is passing me an URI here. I am now getting the URI of my mail. So what I can do is I'll just make another string here to copy this URI dot to string. Now what I can do is you can see I am uploading my user data here. These both methods are separate on their own, right? Because it is created from the reference section. This method is created from the reference section, and this method is created from the database section. Yes. So what I will do is I will just check this section where I'm checking my email is not empty or other things. I will just cut this section from here and put it in the top here. Okay, because I need to check if that is correct or not. And also I will just remove this else section here. Yes, and in my user model class, you can see I only have four options to upload in my database. I have only email option, the username option, phone number option, and the city option. I don't have an option to upload an image URI here. So what I will do is I will edit my model class here. I will also add on another string here as the image URI. Here also in the constructor section, I will add another string, and here also you have to add this dot image URI is equal to image URI, and also add on getter and setter here for retrieving our image data. So once it model class is updated, I will go here. Now you can see it will give me an error because I'm not uploading the fifth section here because I'm retrieving it here. So it will be not available here. So what I will do is I will cut this whole section from here and I will put this whole section here. And here in this now I can add image URI. Now can you see there are no more errors. The first thing we are doing is we are updating my XML file. After my XML file is updated, I am updating my model class. I am adding one another string as the image URL. Then in my image on click listener, I am getting my image from on activity result. You can say I'm getting the URI here. And once I'm getting the URI, I'm in my button set click listener. First I'm checking is my email is empty or not, and the other things like city and phone number. If that is not empty, then the next thing I want to do is I'm creating a storage reference here. In this storage reference, I'm creating one branch, main branch as the profile, and the sub branch as the my UID of the user. Yes, and then in that reference, you can see I'm storing the reference here. In that reference, I want to put one URI here, and I'm setting an on complete listener. In that on complete listener, when the task is successful, I am downloading the same URI from my storage section. You can see get download URL, and when this is successful, I'm getting the URI here from my storage section. So when I'm getting my URI from the storage section, I'm just putting it into a string and then updating it into my model class. Then I'm updating the same thing in my database. Now let's run and check if it is working fine. I'll open my database, log in the user. Now you can see there is one another issue. I clicked it two times my sign in page, so it is opening two pages of the sign in. So we have to also handle that same thing. I will show you how you can handle that. So first thing I will upload an image here. My image is set. I will upload some data here. Then I will hit upload. So now it is taking a bit long time to upload an image URL, right? So what will happen if the you can say I'm getting the message as the success. Now I'll reload this page. You can see now there is a branch created as the profile, which you have mentioned here. And in this profile section, I am having a sub branch as my user UID. And if you click on this, you can see there is an image uploaded in my storage section. And if you see here, here is the URL of your image. Yes. Now if I go back to my real-time database, now you can see in this user section there is an another node here. Now they as the image URI, and in this image URI I'm getting some data here, right? So this is the same data which will be used. Now you can see if you copy all that, I'll just show you. You can see in this, now in this URL there is my image, right? So now it will be easy to retrieve some data from here. So we, when we are retrieving some my image profile image from the database, so I can directly get a link from here. So I don't need to go again and again in my storage section to retrieve my profile picture, right? So here only I will get my image. I only added one profile image to the one user. So you can see there is in my second user there is not a node as called as the image URI. So this is how we can upload some image here and also get a reference in our real-time database. Yes, are there any doubts?
No, sir.
So, Ramya ma'am,
No, sir.
another thing which I showed you, when I click to, the button two times, there is something error happening because I am getting two times my login page or my activity page. So what you can do is you can just add where is this is my login page. You can add anywhere. I will just create a progress dialog equal to is equal to new progress dialog, and in this you can pass the context. Yes. And in here you can just set up your progress dialog. I will set a dialog dot set message as let's say please wait. And then I will set a title as, let's say I will set the title as alert, and then also I will set the cancelable as false. So why they have set this cancelable as false? Because when my progress dialog is getting on my screen, if I touch somewhere else from my progress bar, that will be cancelled. So if I set it as false, it will be on the screen until we dismiss it. So what I can do is, you can see, yeah, my now my progress dialog is ready with the message and the title. Now we can show it when I'm clicking on my button. You can start your progress dialog here, dialog dot show, and you have to also dismiss it when there is some error. You can see my first error is here when there is nothing uploaded in my edit text. So I will just make it here as dialog dot dismiss, and here also I want to dismiss my dialog. Here also you can set dialog dot dismiss, and once my auth is created and navigated to the next thing, here also you can dismiss your dialog. You have to take care of all that also. Dot dismiss. Now let's run our app again. So, I'll create it here. Now I'll create on another user here. Let's say I will keep it as blank and let's check. Now there is an error. So I will create an another here. Email. Now you can see I'm getting my progress dialog until my activity is done. So this can resolve your issue of clicking the button too many times, because once I'm clicking the button too many times, it will create an another duplicate activities of that section. Or sometimes if you are on the clicking the upload button too many times, it will also crash your app. So by this you can also resolve your issue by creating a progress dialog. Yes. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Are there any doubts regarding the
No,
progress
sir.
dialog or uploading the image? Yes, Ramya ma'am. Yes. Ramya ma'am, are there any doubts?
No, sir.
Now I have only applied my let's say I have only applied my progress dialog to only one activity, which is my sign up activity. I have to apply this same progress dialog to all my activities to keep our app safe. So you can do that. Just add your progress dialog wherever it is needed. You can need this same progress dialog here while signing in the user. You can need the same here while updating some data in your database, right? So you can add here, and also you have to dismiss your progress bar wherever it is needed. Like if I'm getting some error here, I want to dismiss here. You have to also take care of that. So if there are no doubts, we will end this section.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.